Well, hey, how y'all doing out there today? Listen, a lot of my personal life seeps out here because I work in a community that has a campground that is open to the public. It's open to you, my brothers and sisters. It's basically a free campground, and it's a place to come and relax and recharge and be with like-minded people. Um, and so since I've been here, I've had a lot of issues come out, or y'all see how I live, and it's very simple. Um, and a lot of people that live like me or look like me, we get stereotyped, and I love breaking that stereotype. So it's been an honor to help break that stereotype where you can look at somebody else and understand that there's a soul inside of there, that there's a person inside of there. But the person that you're looking at happens to be Bill Bunting, and my life has been very great, and I've loved it. I've had the sad part was great because I've learned from everything, and I'm sitting here in a position right now where me and you are looking at me as a homeless man because that's what I am, because that's what I chose. But you wonder why I chose it, and even with some meager attacks at my character, I would like to explain this because many of you out there, American workers, many of you just like me, or you could be in other countries. It's not just the American worker. Us that work for somebody else, us that depend on somebody else to make our money, or even us that are business owners or have been business owners that depend on an economy or other people to help get along. And then things happen, or then you see things. I just want to explain my side of it since my character has been by several people. Just go on YouTube and type in Bill Bunting, and you'll see all the way from Australia, South Africa, and Missouri. People attack me, and that's fine because I am out here, and I am easy to attack because what I see is right and wrong, and what you see is right and wrong. Um, is completely different, and it's because things have been twisted. I see things as them being twisted, and perception is one of them. But let's explain this story. I'm not going to go all the way back to when I worked for Pratt Whitney Aircraft, and it was my first job, and I worked for United Technologies Corporation for Pratt Whitney, and under the big UTC umbrella, and we were defending the nation and allowing people air travel, like you can hear above me right now. And, um, but because of the war in '91 and what I saw, I stepped away. But I had 10 years of service with them, and a lot of people felt, well, not a lot, but enough people felt this way to where UTC said, because they were selling us to an Israeli company. So that's why I stepped away from Pratt & Whitney, y'all. And I would have stayed there, probably never knew anything, and been maybe not blind, and I still would have always been connected to my Mother Earth, but I probably would have had a different thought process. But I don't want to go back that far. Let's just go back to 2012. September 29th, 2012 was on a Thursday, and I was getting ready for a big trip to Australia. I was going to go meet somebody I'd met online, and I was going to go talk to some anti-fracking people over there. And I'd planned about I knew I needed to get away. I've been in, at this point in time, like I said, you're talking 2012, that's 8 years ago. So I was 47 years old, and so I, was really seeing that I needed to get away from corporate. I was in a machine shop as usual. I'm a machinist, by the way, and I've always made great money. This particular job, I was making 22 bucks an hour, and I only had to work 30 hours a week because I always lived simple, and they were cool with it, and I was cool with it. But as we were fixing to go, a big job came up, and the manager came up, the owner and manager, and he came up and he said, "Hey, Bill, can you work through the weekend? You're not leaving till Monday. Can you work through the weekend to help get this job out?" And it wasn't supposed to be done on my machine, and there was some issues with some equipment, but he threatened me with my son because I just was apprenticing my son. Matter of fact, I just turned out a Social Security disability case to apprentice my son. I could have been riding Lightning on SSDI for 1,100 bucks a month. But no, I wanted to apprentice my son in a machine shop. Jeff gave me this opportunity. Everything was cool. But here comes up this incident, right? This is basically the story of my life. I just defend myself, y'all, and you should too. This is why I want you to feel good about your situation and see what you can do when things like this come up. Well, with Jeff, what happened was I agreed because I was like, okay, so you can't threaten me, but you're gonna, my boy might not be able to work, huh? Okay, well, I'll do the job. So I went over there to get it done, and I wasn't in the best of moods. The hoist failed, and 2,200 pounds of steel fell on my 3 toes and crushed them off. So I lost 3 toes. Instead of him seeing what happened and letting workman's comp deal with it, he had to demonize me and make me look bad to save money, and that's what he did. So that's why that's what happened with that job. That put me into a depression. My sister died. This man had really been rough on me about that as well. So here you go. I lead the machine shops, and for some reason, because of the accident, I didn't want to go back to machine shops. But I did get a little money from the workman's comp. I did go to Australia, and I did do some things with that money. I came back to America. I found a new job. I was gonna just deal with fracking and all. Well, it wound up costing me all 3 run-ins with DHS, and they spooked me pretty bad that last time by just saying, hey, there wasn't gonna be another time. You better watch your ass. So that was fine. Well, let's just go back the last couple years easy, and I met this sweet girl named Karen Sue in Ohio, and I came up there to be with her and live in Ohio. And this is when the worm really turned for me, because I had actually left. I was working in Brunswick and working for a brother of mine that had a pool company, and they betrayed me on an acre of land and lied to me about it. So I just sold everything, walked the Appalachian Trail. When I came off the Appalachian Trail, basically I knew I wasn't going to work for anybody anymore. I wasn't going to be screwed anymore. My life was mine. So it's my freedom to go meet Karen, and I went to go meet Karen in Ohio. Now, when I was there, I went through 5 jobs, y'all, in 1 year. But here's the thing. It sounded like, Bill, you just can't work for nobody, can you? The first job was with, and the only, now listen, as far as the homelessness goes, um, um, my wife has had issues with this. Her family's had issues with this. And I was staying by the grace of her son, Norm, and this is a big old boy. He's like 6 foot. Sound had this little woman had this big old man for a son, but he's like 6'6", about 300 pounds, and looks, like somebody you see at an Anthrax concert at security, or a Slayer concert at security. Sorry about that, Norm. And but he was gracious enough to let us live in the house, his family, and they let, man, that was so cool. So I saw a good part of homelessness there, where families back each other up. But y'all, I was trying to, the first job I was working with his company, a landscaper. I was just going to do labor work. I wasn't no longer going to work for the man, wasn't going to build machines, just going to work hard, keep this old body in shape, and try to make a good lick for my lady, and let's get us something going on. And we were talking about a community then, and with the first week, at the end of the first week, a snowstorm hits. Now I'm from the South, y'all, and I'm in Ohio. And I get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, of course, now, y'all, I'm still honeymooning with Karen Sue. We just met, right? All right. So, and this was Saturday, and I was told, and I only had to work half a day Friday, because they were like, we ain't got no work, so we sent you on. So I didn't think I'd have to do nothing until Monday. And I'm getting these calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. I heard these people was pushy up there. And bam, the guy saying, hey, you need to get to work. We need somebody to spray some salt. And I said, spray some salt? Do what? Slow down a minute. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm laying in the bed with my fiance, and what's up? What's going on with you? And so he explained the situation, that the snow came, the salt came. I said, well, listen, do you have enough people right now? He said, Bill, without you, it's going to shut down the whole operation. And I said, well, listen to what you just said now, man. You just said, without the newest guy you just hired, it's going to shut down $1 million landscaping operation from doing something y'all are used to. I'm from the South, brother. I didn't know the snow was coming. I didn't know none of this. Can we just say, hey, I'm sorry, and I can't make it. I don't even got a ride, and I don't know how I'm going to get there. And it's snow outside. I don't know how to deal with this. He said, fine, but okay, I get your point, but then he goes, and I thought, okay, cool, it's over, and I'll be attentive next time. I didn't want this to happen. And then he goes, but next time you better have a better damn excuse when you're talking to me. And I said, hey, buddy, hold on a minute. We're on the phone, right? And he goes, yeah. I said, would you have said that to my fucking face? I said, all work bullshit aside, who the hell do you think you're talking to, man? You might be my manager or my supervisor, but you ain't gonna sit there and tell me I got excuses and better do. Oh, wow, really? Who the hell you think you are? And he said, blah, blah, blah. Man, we got into it. So then went that job. Went right to work. Walked down the street, saw a painter. I know how to paint pretty damn good. Went up, this guy's name was Bill. Had this painting business. He catered to the Oberlin, Ohio, is a big college town, so he catered to these people. He wore long hair like a hippie, but he was really a closet conservative and always talking right winger shit. But when it was them professors, boy, he'd be doing that old liberal song and dance, and I'd be gay if I wasn't married and all that shit. He's crazy guy. But actually, I saw with these guys, I'd take a chance with them. He offered me, it was like $17.50 an hour, just to paint houses. And be on time. So he got all that, and man, this went on for about a month. Well, about a month later, as soon as we're established and everybody's loving everybody and everything's good, and I learned to just let their rhetoric go through my ears and just do my job, and $17.50 an hour, and they only work 35 hours a week, and I'm like, wow, man, this is perfect. I'm just going to shut up, not do nothing. They were doing some, you ain't gonna believe it, they were doing some hydraulic drilling in Oberlin to do the redo their fire hydrants. And this lady's front yard, she had this beautiful front yard, and she has a beautiful house, and she was actually a Wiccan lady, and she had already talked to me as I was working. I'm a good working talker, and Bill liked that too, because she was all, everything was great up until this point. Well, their hydraulic drill came out right in the middle of her front yard, y'all, and it blew a slurry gasket, and the slurry, which is toxic, was going all over her yard. And her little dog, she had a little dog, and I said, man, let me get your dog out here. So I jumped off. Oh, I was actually on lunch watching this. It happened in front of me on lunch. And with 10 minutes worth of lunch left, I handed it to her. I said, please don't let the dog get in that slurry. Go wash him off. 1% of that, they don't have to tell you about. It's made by Halliburton. The bags are on that truck. I was already looking at this. I said, so just go in your house, and EPA will be out here soon enough. They're going to have to vacuum this out of your yard, but your yard is dead right now, but you can rebuild. They're going to have to pay for it. And then one of their environmental guys comes over and says, hey, sir, I hear you talking to her, and you're absolutely right, and everything will be fine. And where are you? Who are you with? And I'm saying, I'm with this guy. I'm just painting the house, man. Y'all did this in front of me. By that time, they all got settled out. Bill said, Bill, you going back to work now? And I said, well, okay, I got 5 minutes of lunch left there, boss man, but okay, I'll get my old redneck ass back here to work. Yes, sir. So I get on back. I'm grabbing some buckets, and he comes around the corner real mad. He goes, why were you telling that lady this? Why were you telling her that? And I said, well, that's what we do. We got to warn people. Y'all, it's starting to rain a little bit. We're going in the old crib right here. And I said, we got to warn people when things like this happen, Bill, when we know that's community, that's brotherhood. He came up and chest bumped me. He said, you do what I do on my time. And I said, let me tell you something, man, don't put your hands on me again. And he came up to swing, and I laid his ass down in that slurry. But all I did was the old hook in the arm, because he was coming at me. I used his own weight against him. I did not hit the man. I did not beat the man. He was coming at me to grab me, and he's only like 5'6", but about 200 pounds. Thinking he could manhandle me, and he's already been talking to me like shit, and let him run into my arm. And he went on down, and he landed, and he was laying in that slurry where I was asking for some boards. That's another thing. I said, hey, can you go get some plywood to lay down on this slurry? I don't want to walk in it. That's what happened with that, a slurry spill in a front yard. How am I supposed to help that? So you think, well, damn, Bill, okay, them first two's bad, man. What about this third one, because you said there was like 5 jobs. Well, the third one was with a concrete company called Stanziano Concrete. And I thought I'd actually find a home, y'all. These were all good, and they are good men. But the thing was, you work on a job, and you're working hard labor. Concrete work is hard. It was keeping me in great shape. But sometimes I'd be tired. Sometimes we do some 16-hour days. And he was not a retired, but a part-time police officer. Well, at that time, there was a lot of police violence going on, and I was speaking out against it. And many brothers and sisters were resonating with the message of "Don't kill us." And this was a small town cop, but up there around the Oberlin, Cleveland, Elyria area where there's a lot of racism, and where he kind of thought the cops were getting a bad name and they needed to tighten up. He didn't care for the fact that I was talking to so many black folks. He said, don't you know that, like, he would say they were the criminals. He would give me these stats, and when I tell him stats back, he'd get mad, but the next day he'd be like, he want to talk about something else. That's for damn sure. don't come to this man without no real stats and knowing, I know what I'm gonna talk about, or I'll tell you I think. So there you go. Well, also is when men work together on hard jobs, they get a little closer, and because I was silent with them a lot about real things, and I'm an easy man to talk to. I'm a good brother like that. Man, they were telling me their personal things about each other, and they all started gossiping on each other. And one had a motor vehicle homicide, and one had beat his wife, and the owner was on the drugs, but still a cop, and all these psychotropic drugs and heavy ones. And I'm like, wow, man, let's chill out and not worry about all this. And if I could have just got through it, I could have got, because what they have is seasonal work up there. I never heard of that. And somewhere, if I could have made it to a certain amount of time, I could have worked part-time and still, we got back with them and did snowplow. I was actually looking forward to doing some Yankee stuff like snowplow. Well, because of one police video, one of the boys got on there, and Chris said something about, well, you're going to have to pick between that YouTube and this job. And I'm like, well, that's my free time, and you're all talking about rights as American, and I got rights on my free time. You know what I do on my free time. I smoke weed on my free time, and you're police, and we all leave each other alone because we work together for this common interest, your company. And at this point in time, I'm your best laborer that you got. keep everything in order for you, geared for you. You know that I'm beyond this kind of work, but I'm even helping you run your business. I'm all y'all are always gossiping to me, and I feel like part of the family, but here you are, you're telling me what I got to do when I'm not on your job. And he didn't get upset about it, but the other boys did. And man, they made a big old scene, came to the house, and jumped on me right in front of my old lady, or tried to. Hell, I had Karen up there trying to push them back. Boy, that's you talk about a fighter. So my supervisor and his little crony had actually came to my house all over denouncing police violence and saying, hey, leave me alone with your gossip and your family business. Just let's work like we've been doing. So there you go with that. That turned out to be a big stink, and I was lucky I didn't go to jail or get in any more trouble because he was police, but he did not abuse his authority. I will say that. He may have kept his nephew out of jail and that other boy out of jail. Fine. If I was a cop, I probably would have done that too, because they didn't beat nobody, they didn't hurt nobody. They matter of fact, looked like whatever. So there's your third one. So now I'm like tripping, and I'm telling Karen, I'm like, wow, and even her son, I'm like, y'all, I don't understand this, because I worked with them boys all through the summer, like you know what. And it was unreal. So it's getting towards this is in the thing, and and another thing was they got rid of me like 1 week right before I would have been eligible for unemployment for the seasonal thing where you can't get work because of the snow. So whatever on that, that seemed kind of coincidental. So his fourth job was actually I waited about another month. Her other son worked for another concrete company. So you think, Bill, hey, you jumping back in the fire? And like, no, this was a big corporate one. This wasn't a bunch of guys. I mean, I'd have to put up with assholes at work. Everybody has to do that. This, that, and other. But fine. All they wanted was people that were on time, that would work hard, and would didn't mind making some money. And they was a hard-working outfit, and everybody looked tired, and everybody looked broke down, but they worked hard. I will give this outfit that. Well, when I first got there, the first couple of days, everybody was cool. I'm an old Southern boy, and they a bunch of Yankees, and we're working in downtown Cleveland. So I'm kind of like looking around because it's like Atlanta, Georgia. I lived there 16 months. I'm not like a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the city or dumbfounded by the city. It's just this one was wild because there were so many homeless people around, and this place was really run down. We were doing sidewalks, like go think about doing a bunch of white boys doing sidewalks in the ghetto. So that kind of element was around for sure, and watching it every day, the drugs, prostitution, the homeless people. Well, about the third or fourth day, the weather started getting bad, and we were coming in and out. And we went in one morning, and one of the boys that was working with, the other one that got kind of rough with me, but I was fine. I was like, hey, rough and tumble job, rough and tumble guys, just go along with it. In the long run, they'll respect me for standing up and holding my ground and not doing that. Well, for that incident, because the guy actually was working his ass off, and I was in his way. So I don't blame him for pushing old man out the way, But that morning when we were leaving, they put us all in trucks and got into the truck because one guy laid out of work, and this other guy was driving the truck. And we stopped at the store to get some coffee, and I went to get my energy drink. And I came back out. He asked me if I'd get him an energy drink because he didn't have no money. And when I came back out, he was leaning over the dash snorting a line of heroin. Now, there's a bad heroin epidemic in Ohio, and people are falling out. So I'm watching this, and before I say anything else, I want to say something else too. I always believe in responsibility with drugs. I never thought drugs should be illegal. This was completely irresponsible, especially with that particular drug. But I asked him, I said, homeboy, did you just do a line of that boy right there in front of me? He said, yeah, man, oh man, they beat me up yesterday. I gotta get back in the groove, and this just a little bump to get me going. And I saw it, and it wasn't a little bump, looked like a little rail to me. So anyway, regardless, I hesitated for a minute, and I got in the truck. But then it's snow and it's ice, and we're going to Cleveland, y'all. I've already been in 2 head-on collisions. I'm just freaking out, and the boy's nodding, so I'm like talking, asking him about his problem. I'm trying to act like a brother, just to figure this brother out, just trying to get to Cleveland so I can get in another truck and get the fuck back. Because right then, I was through. I went back and I told the boss man I wasn't going to work for him no more. I couldn't deal with it. That's the environment. So there were 4 to 5 jobs. The 5th job was with a crazy old West Virginia boy that moved to Ohio. And he was a tree man, and he's a damn good tree man, and he had his own bucket truck. And I didn't lose that job. He did try. He paid me by the day, which was about $80 a day. And he worked me hard, but I love tree work. And he only worked on, he didn't cut down new tree or good trees, y'all. He did what I like. He's a steward, a caretaker of the trees, a limber. And they just modified and they got rid of dead things and they kept big trees alive. I saw some of the most beautiful trees working with him, and a great thing. I could go work with him right now. So that job I got to keep, but because of the season came up and tree work don't go through the winter there, he wasn't able to work me, and I wasn't able to do anything. And I wasn't going back to work for anybody up there. Now, in saying this, that's when I left and came back down to Georgia. And this was just in 2016, I guess, or right early 2017. And I came here, and the landowner there wanted me to start a community. She ripped me off for money, and Karen and I didn't know what to do. Karen had to go back to Ohio, and this place got offered to me as a job. And I was offered certain things, and I just keep it to myself right now, because this ain't a he said, she said. This is a life lesson on that, what your value is, and how things in your life can be looked at as you being the problem, yet you may just be standing up for yourself or just being real. Well, I came here with all these promises and everything, and for the most part, y'all, everything is panned out. But from what the agreement that I have with, and the money that I put into this place with my labor and other things that I've done here, the parties, the donations and whatnot, and the Bonnie Lee Farm part of it, I was given at $100 a month. They owed me, with the money they owed me. It was just to pay my rent, and I was told just here I had 2 summers, which is about 24 months, so $2,400 of my labor. And this ain't something they're giving me. This is something I've earned, and earned it at $10 an hour, busting my ass around this place. And the people that been here know exactly what I'm talking about. And anybody that looks at this meadow or the work around here, just to getting people here and doing things, was all a part of this one deal. Well, now, because of the landowner's PTSD, my job is gone. My home is gone again. But here's my point. From the beginning, I was homeless. When I went up there to see Karen, I was homeless. When I was in Brunswick and had the money from the settlements and my Pratt & Whitney retirement money. By the way, when I left Pratt & Whitney after 10 years, they had given me a retirement, and I still have a life insurance policy for my kids. I lived that whole life many of you are living now. That's why I stepped away. But now I'm just trying to tell you to be wary of what you step away into, because of how you look, because being homeless or having a southern drawl or being different than being different. Let's put it that way. Let's get fucking real about it. When you're different and you need somebody, but you're giving them something, well, if they can make you think that what they're giving you is more than what you're giving them, they'll string you along. It seems to be human nature. I don't think that I went through those 4 jobs that were bad up there by coincidence, because I told you I don't believe in coincidence. I think it was just whatever it is, the forces of the universe, the mother, I have no idea. Even my own self saying, I can't do this. This ain't me. Maybe I was able to stand up and be strong against people and stand on my own and demand my rights as a free man and a regular human American citizen and a human being, just to be treated like anybody else. It can be looked at in all kind of ways, but maybe because of that, these people acted the way they did. I'll never tell anybody nothing but the truth. I'll never treat you any different than you treat me. I'll rarely cross the line first, but I am quick to what people might call it judging or whatever. It's because of these life experiences, y'all. There's some real things and some real ways to deal with each other, and then there's some ways that just mess things up. Well, I've been looking at my actions all my life and thinking, how can I act to keep people from fucking with me or to keep things from happening? Well, I can't. It don't matter how I act, because it's been done to me when I looked like a little corporate head boy to what I look like now, a homeless bum. Fine. But I'm happy now, and because of these life lessons, I'm happy knowing that somewhere there's going to be somebody that wants some land, man. It's somewhere there's going to be people that want to learn their land, that own land and don't know it. That's what basically I have to offer anybody. But if I don't, I'm alive and I'm free and I can go do anything I want, and ain't none of y'all gonna do a damn thing to me. And the only thing you can do to me is kill me. And when I'm dead, I go back to the mother and I'll be soil that things will grow from. So whatever you made my life,
um, purposeful by putting me back where my belief system is and my knowledge system knows I'm going to go. But for y'all out there that are homeless right now, and you take a lot of shit to work for somebody, or they owe you money, and at the end of the day they don't want to pay you because they know you're homeless, or because you're Southern and they automatically think you're stupid that they can rip you off on your paycheck. Don't take that, y'all. You ain't got to. But I will tell you to stand up for yourself. It does hurt. It does have a price. But I can look in the mirror and know why the fucked up things happen in my life. Some of them, even all of them, because I'm going to look at me first. And I have been looking at these last events, from Bonnie Lee Farm to the Sanctuary Project in Georgia and to these last 5 jobs. And I miss Larry. I swear that old West Virginia hillbilly boy, he wasn't but 5 foot tall, but man, that guy could climb a tree like you wouldn't believe. And he was just a few years younger than me. He looked older, but he was like just a few years, like 49, something. Anyway, it don't matter. Um, don't I learned and I stood up for myself, but it did have a price. And when you're in that split second of decision, when you got another human being that has nothing but paper authority over you, they don't even sign your paycheck. They just have a place on a totem pole a little bit higher than you, something that weak over you, and they're screaming in your face, and you're at that point in time, and you don't know what to do. Think, who am I? Who am I for them to talk to me this way? And it's only when they step over the boundaries. Hey, y'all, I'm not going to sit there and say we shouldn't show respect at work and show respect when given respect for the ladder of hiring the boss, if he's a cool boss. If everybody's on page to make the wheels turn, to make the machine run, then fine. But you know what I'm talking about. And I don't find it coincidental at all that 6 of the last 7 incidences in my life involving people, money, land, or whatever, some kind of work, have turned out crappy, and that people thought about themselves before they either thought about me or they thought about other people. Because like I said with the Stanziano thing, all I had to do was just quit talking about police violence. I could have kept my job. Nobody would have harassed me anymore. But no. Matter of fact, I made a video about how I wasn't going to be told what the hell to do. And then I got in trouble. But that one was on me as well. I make the decisions in my life. When bad things happen to me, it's because I put myself there. When good things happen to me, it's because I put myself there as well. But you're not going to get good or bad if you don't put yourself somewhere. So who are you? And who is anybody else to talk down to you? Think about that. Don't let people take from you. And I'll figure out a way of working out my issue with this and what I'm owed here. But this is just a life lesson for all of y'all. All of y'all. I don't care if you're in the street. I don't care if you're in your apartment and your rent's late. Don't let people talk down to you just because you think you're lesser. Nobody on this planet, from a homeless person to Baron von Rothschild, is lesser than anybody else. And those of us that are smart enough and have the right hearts and the right mentality um, and the right attitude towards brotherhood, we respect and love each other even when we don't like each other, because we know we have to coexist. We know one day it may be the other way around. And that's what a lot of people ought to think about. And I think that's the only reason why my life is, and I've not gone without food or shelter or nothing, is because I've always given food and shelter and company back. So that's why you gotta give. Don't hold on to nothing. I told y'all, don't be holding on to nothing. What you holding on to it for? You gonna take it to the grave with you? I love y'all. Peace. Take care of your own. Stand up for yourself. Be you. Self-lead. Be free. Live free and die living. I love y'all. Peace, and don't live in fear.